Hello and welcome back. As part of my individual breakdown into each group of the 2020 European Championships, today I will continue with Group B, which features Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. And if you didn't happen to catch my predictions for Group A, click so in the I button above. Without further ado, let's start with Belgium, whom have been universally regarded as one of the top favorites for this entire tournament, and with good reason, as they're currently top 5 in the world FIFA World Rankings, and just came off a third place finish at the FIFA World Cup 3 years ago. And they have the squad to boast, as it features a tremendous amount of quality in every position, whether it be goalkeeper with Thibaut Courtois, defense Toby Alderweireld, and midfield Kevin De Bruyne, and at striker with Romelu Lukaku. And what I like about this Belgian team is how there's a lot of experience from the past World Cup and the Euros, while also featuring a lot of youth. And in particular, my player to look out for Belgium is Jeremy Doku. Then in the night and at 19, he has potential have a to really have a breakout tournament, and I expect that he will get opportunities under Roberto Martinez. Now, there are some criticisms of Belgium going into this tournament, and particularly there is fear that potentially teams have caught on to their tactics and their formation in particular is vulnerable with only 3 defenders, and I worry about that. I worry about that, to be honest. I also worry about the fitness of Kevin De Bruyne, as he picked up a little knock in the Champions League final, and I'm not sure if he'll be at 100% fitness. But fortunately, we do have almost 2 weeks until the tournament begins, so hopefully he'll regain some fitness. And obviously, how can I not comment on the form of Eden Hazard, as he was extremely disappointed in Real Madrid this season, obviously being hindered by injury, but just his form in general in the past 2 years has been abysmal. And I just hope he can recapture some form for this tournament. And obviously, I have a bias towards Belgium, having been an avid supporter of their national team since the 2014 World Cup. And overall, I think with their amount of experience and quality that they have, they will be one to be reckoned with. And I think with their dominance in the qualifiers, having won every game, it will it will show, and I think they will take first place in Group B. Next, we have Denmark. And Denmark is an interesting team in this group, as they did not qualify for the last Euros, but have really improved it in that time off, and particularly their performance at the World Cup show that they are not a team to take lightly. And with the likes of Christian Eriksen and Yusuf Poulsen, they definitely have the extra something that you need in a tournament like this. However, those players in particular were not at their best this season club-wise, and I worry about how they might do on the international stage. And Denmark will be looking to turn back the clock and repeat what they did in 1992 when they successfully won the Euros. And I believe they have every potential to do that. But I'm not. I would never question their defense and goalkeeping, as Kasper Schmeichel is one of the best goalkeepers going into the tournament, and their defense is very above average as well. And I would say that their player to watch out for in this tournament is Pierre-Emile Højbjerg of Tottenham, as with all the dysfunction that occurred at Tottenham this season, he was the one consistent mainstay, and he played a majority of their games. and looked very good at it while at it, having came over from Southampton in the summer. And Højbjerg looks to be a force in Denmark's midfield if they want to qualify for the knockout stage. And they had a very up and down qualifying, but made a great charge at the end to deservedly earn their spot in the at the tournament. And they will face they and I think they will give Belgium a run for their money and potentially finishing first. And I think it'll be really be them and Russia fighting it out for second and third. And overall, I think I'm just going to give Denmark the edge at second in their group. Next, we have Finland. And as you can see, I do not have a Finland jersey, as it's fairly difficult to get my hands on one, as they're not typically a well-known national team, at least in the world of football. And as this is their first qualification in this tournament, and deservedly so, they were immaculate during the qualifiers, having finished second in their group behind Italy under the tutelage of Marco Canerva, a part-time teacher. And this story almost sounds similar to Iceland in 2016. And with Finland boasting a above average goalkeeper in Lukas Radetsky, and not to mention my player to look out for, Teemu Pukki, who led the EFL Championship in goals for Norwich City. They had the potential to really surprise and potentially earn a spot in the knockout stage. And I think I would say that if they were in any other group for the most part. But this group's just so hard to determine that I think they'll find difficulty in getting getting the points needed to qualify. And while part of me really wants them to go deep in this tournament, I think they're just the lack of experience and lack of quality in most parts of their midfield and defense will really show. And unfortunately, I have to give them fourth in this group. And last but not least is Russia. And what Russia and Denmark have that will might give them an edge is the fact that they have home field advantage, as the two cities hosting this group, Copenhagen and St. Petersburg, will mightily contribute to whether these teams make it into the knockout stage. And Russia in particular will be looking to use that home field advantage as they successfully exploited it during the 2018 World Cup, having reached the quarterfinals. And they were really a almost Cinderella story, but they were also gifted with a fairly easy group compared to this year. And while they do have some players to look out for, in particular, my player to look out for Russia is Alexander Golovin, who was a revelation at the 2018 World Cup and was very underrated in Monaco's top four finish in Ligue 1 this year. And Russia just definitely has a lot of youth at their display. To be honest, I'm not really that aware of the rest of Russia's players, as most of them play in the Russian Premier League, which I'm not an avid follower of. But what I am aware of is the fact that they are very is the fact that they are very experienced at the back in goal, but they're also very old, and with one of their youngest defenders with one of their youngest starters in Mario Fernandez potentially being a impact player, I don't know if they have what it takes to be very competitive in this group. And particularly, they did end up facing us off against Belgium in the qualifiers, and the games were not that close. Belgium ended up winning not by a large margin, but they dominated them. And I just don't know if Russia has the quality that they to compete with the likes of Denmark and Belgium. As a result, I will be giving them third in this group. But as I will state later, there will only be two teams, in my opinion, qualifying to the knockout stage from this group, and that is, as my aforementioned predictions go as followed: Belgium in first, Denmark in second, Russia in third, and Finland in fourth. And I know I might be mightily wrong on that, and I deserve it, to be honest. Anyway, tell me your predictions of Group B in the comments below. And join me next time as I go in depth into Group C, which features Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. See you next time.